All right. For those of you who have followed my channel, know this that I lived in UAE. My whole childhood. I studied in Sharjah Indian School, a school in Sharjah. Its name is Sharjah Indian School, run by South Indians, Malayalis. Um, South Indian education. Bunda bunda bunda. Being a South Indian myself. So we almost all the teachers were Malayalis. Apple, APBLD, Apple. Should make fun of teachers. Should make fun of teachers or whatever. Some were good. Some of the teachers were really good. I can take a name of a few. Sunny. These are the teachers like Sunny Matthews, G.V. Varghese, Mr. Nair, who's the headmaster, Mr. Pillai, Mrs. Das. These were some of the senior teachers. De Cruz was the physical teacher, PT. And then obviously the other teachers who really impacted my life was like, I think his name is Baby Thomas, English sir. And the ones who taught me in KG, Mrs. Briganza, can't get her name, Elizabeth, I think, yeah, she converted to Islam. And there were, Mrs. Anne, she was not my teacher. Yeah, she was a teacher for some time. So there are some teachers who really left an indelible mark. And then there are who are not so good. Mr. Isa Koya, can never forget him. I don't know if he's alive. Mr. Isa Koya, gem of a human being. Then, how can I forget my PT sir? How can I forget? Sharafuddin? Yeah, I think his name is Sharafuddin. He's the sir that physical PT sir that introduced me to the discipline of exercise. I used to always disrespect him and take him for granted until I made a video about it. If you want to know the story, how he changed my life, owe it to him. Deep respect. I'll still call him sir. Literally, I mean, he deserves the respect. So there are some teachers. And then there are bad people. And then there are absolute assholes whom I wouldn't even piss on their grave. Seriously. I wouldn't even defecate shit on their grave. Abdur Rahman is one of them. He died. Good. He deserved to die. He used to abuse me physically. Then there was this teacher who didn't... she was a North Indian teacher who used to draw, but she had a very unique way of punishment. She would put pencils in between our fingers and squeeze it to give us pain. Then there was this guy, I can't get his name. He used to take a rubberized cane to whack the students. Can't get his name. And then there was Abraham, I think. He was a good sir, but he used to pass loose comments telling my parents this boy should be put in a mental asylum. And then there was this one other guy with cat eyes. Can't get his name, but he was the reason why I was never selected as a volunteer. Volunteer in the sense like a prefect. Like, I wish I could get his name to name and shame him. Anyway, so the worst, I told you, Abdur Rahman, who later on became an assistant headmaster or something like that. Very abusive, absolute son of a bitch. I mean, I'm glad he's dead. He deserves not only to die, I mean, I wish his name would have been destroyed. He physically abused me with a stick and all that. And he used to publicly tell everyone in the class, I hate this boy. And yes, there were these other teachers, Egyptians and all that, who used to teach Arabic. And they used to make me stand. If you do it today, you can be jailed. They used to make me, UAE is 40 degrees, 45 degrees heat. They used to make me stand outside the classroom because I was mischievous, because I used to not do my homework in the heat. Imagine, and almost all the teachers used to do that. So, because I was mischievous. So imagine if I'm going to school for 5 hours, 45 minutes each period, 5 hours, and for 4 hours I'm standing outside, just standing outside in the heat. 45 minutes, I would just stand outside. when I think about it today, I'm like, man, if they would do that to my child, I'd bloody, name and shame and destroy them. Like, imagine they used to do it to me. Can you imagine your child standing out in the heat for 4 hours? Every period, every teacher. Well, I don't blame them. They didn't go through standard training procedures. They just, Indian teachers just teach. And anyway, they used to pay salaries which are like peanuts. What I earn in 1 hour of coaching is more than what they would earn for a whole month. So I'm not trying to make fun of them. This is the reality. Okay. So anyway, there were good teachers. There were not so good teachers. And there are teachers whose names I can't even remember. But I told you, the ones who I respect. Okay. So anyway, let's keep that aside. So I studied in Sharjah Indian school, which was, for those days, it was cheap, comparatively cheap. But yeah, obviously for my parents, it was expensive. To give you an idea, I'll give you in dirhams, AED. See if you can convert it. Those days, it was 60. Let me convert it for you so that it'll, I'll give you in USD. So AED to USD. Okay. So when I joined, it was 60 dirhams a month. 60 dirhams a month was $16, 16 US dollars a month. We used to go 6 days a week, okay, for 5 hours in the afternoon shift, $60 a month. I remember the fees increased to 120. That is by the time I think I was in 10th grade. That is $32 a month, okay. And then I think the most expensive was when I was doing my board exam, that is the 10th, 11th, 12th. It went to up to 210 dirhams. That is $57 a month. Now, keep this in mind. This is important when I'll be telling you how expensive education has become. So $210 a month. Okay. So per year, calculator, per year, 210 into 12 was roughly 2,520. So 2,520 was the most expensive that I paid for my schooling, with bus, transportation, everything for a year. So that's 686 US dollars. 686 was the most expensive I spent per year for my education in my days. $686 full year. Okay. Textbooks and uniform, that's something different. And at the cheapest, it used to be, I'll give you the cheapest, when I started off as a child, 60 into 12 is 720 dirhams. 720, if I take, 720 is $196. So when I was a small boy, it was $196. And when I became, high school, 686. Now this is very important as I'm speaking to you. Why? Because I spoke to, I will not give his name for protecting his privacy. He also studied in the same school. Okay? He also studied in the same school, and nice guy. Okay? He's a nice guy. He studied in the same school. He knew me as his senior. And he told me that his child is studying in a school in Dubai. Okay? In Dubai. Now, I asked him, how much is your child? How much, he has 2 children. How much is one child? Now, I told you, right? The most expensive I paid is $686 per year. $686 per year. He told me his child, who is like almost kindergarten, like small, is paying US dollars, 50,000 US dollars. Okay, sorry. Total apologies. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm making this video, so it was not $50,000. It is 50,000 dirhams. Okay, 50,000 dirhams. My apologies. Okay, so coming back to what I was saying. So I paid $686 annually. This guy is paying 50,000 dirhams or 13,000 US dollars. Let's take a rounded figure. Okay, let's take a rounded figure. I was paying $700. He's paying around $14,000. Let that sink in. A 5-year-old child, expense is, 14,000 US dollars. Now he has 2 children. Very soon his younger one is also going to join. And he's going to pay 100,000 US dollars for 2 children. That is around 100,000. Let me just 100, 1, 2, 3. That's around 28,000 US dollars. 28,000 US dollars for 2 children. I was just calculating. If this guy is going to pay 14,000 US dollars per child now, as they grow older, the cost is going to increase even more. It's not going to get cheaper. It's going to get more expensive. So obviously she's 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years, 9, 10, as she goes higher and higher, it's going to increase. And then after that comes college. And if he wants to maintain that standard, he also has to pay for college, which would be 5x, 5 times more if he has to go same. Now, obviously, no parent wants their child to go to a super expensive school and super cheap college. Now, you must be wondering, how the hell is this guy able to afford it? The only reason he's able to afford it is because the company he works for, they pay the child's education, and his wife also, the company that she works for, pays full child's education. So both for him and his wife, the whole educational expense is taken care of, the school fees. Okay, so he can send to the most expensive schools. They would pay, I don't know if there is a ceiling, but they both occupy a very high position, very, very high, creme de la creme. Okay. But he's a very practical guy. And what he was telling me is, Loy, if in case tomorrow I lose my job, what will I do? A very thought-provoking statement. If I lose my job, how will I manage to pay, 28,000 US dollars for both my children's education? Not possible. If my wife also loses her job, we're finished. We can't manage. We'll have to put in maybe the cheapest school possible. Like, not the one I was going. Today, that kind of fees doesn't exist. Okay. And then he said, "Why, what about college? What if the company doesn't take care of us college days? How will we afford college?" So, to prepare for that, imagine this guy, to prepare for that, him and his wife have started to save money every single month. They've kept a fund for child number 1 and child number 2. Just imagine. And they are going to do this for the next 15 years so that when they want to go to college, a sizable chunk can be used for their education. Now, you can say that, oh, today education is overpriced, it's useless, it's pointless. Fine, whatever. Fine. So what is the option? Should a parent send to the cheaper school, like how I'm sending my daughter to government-sponsored school? I'm not very particular. No, not every parent is like me. Like, I received a lot of backlash saying, hey, what a cheap parent you are. What a piece of shit you are. Well, fine, whatever. So, he's the extreme end. I'm sending to a government school, which is the cheapest and decent enough. Most of the Thai children go here. And my school fees is what? I'll tell you my child's school fees. Thai baht to USD. Okay. Calculator, one second. Let me give the exact figures. So I'm not, I'll just calculate. What is it? I think it's 700 into 12, 8,400. I'm just giving you the exact figure. 8,400. Okay. So my daughter, 5-year-old daughter's annual fees, only the school, is 230 US dollars. 228? 230 US dollars annually. He is paying 14,000 US dollars. Both our children are same age. Now, obviously, you'll say, yeah, Loy, that is why your daughter will be ordinary, working in some rice field. His daughters will be maybe in Ivy League or maybe joined in Microsoft, if Microsoft is there, Apple, Google, or fine, fine. I'm not going to say that, oh, how do you know the future? I agree with you, fine. But this is not the point of this video. The point of making this video is not what my child will be in the future, what his child will be in the future. My point of this video is, look at the skyrocketing cost of education today in Dubai. I don't know what's happening in India. I don't know what's happening in other parts of the world. But I'm very sure that in India at least, if you want to get through merit, it's nearly impossible. And if you want to get to an expensive college, there's a lot of donations under the table, bribes. And the institution themselves ask for, donation money, which goes to millions. So just imagine having a child, and then this, it's like having a car and having this service contract. One-time purchase car is fine, but then you have to pay for this maintenance every single month after month. And you'll say, yeah, you're a parent, it's your bloody duty. But boss, try to understand what I'm saying. The cost of living to provide a child a decent education today has become such a bloody expensive affair. A mother and father, they are going to end up spending their entire lives working like a dog, earning money and spending money for this. And what are they left? It's either you pay taxes, and if taxes are not there, you pay this. If you're single, you'll really think like, man, should I have children? And if I have children, I would want to provide the best for them. But then if it's going to be so expensive, how do I manage? That's one. If you're a young boy or girl, you would expect your parents to give you the best. And imagine if you have a dream, I want to be a doctor, engineer, scientist. And if your parent is not able to pay that kind of money or provide that kind of, facility, your dreams will be destroyed. And then if you're a mother and father who really want to give your child the best, you'll either have to put yourself in a loan, or your entire life, 30 years or 40 years, whatever, after marriage, is going to be dedicated to spending money on this child. And here's the biggest shocker of them all. The biggest shocker. There is absolutely no guarantee that your child is going to either stay in that career path, or is going to succeed, or is going to take care of you. Yeah, if you're a foreigner, you'd not have this concept. What, take care of our parents? What the hell? Most of today's generation, what, take care of parents? Who the hell asked you to bring me into this world? I don't owe you anything, some will say. But Indian family, Indian values, they generally feel, they have this bonding where they take care of their mothers and fathers, parents. So what if they say, no, I'm sorry, I can't manage. And we have seen during COVID, we have seen nowadays, this generation, even after giving them the best education, they're still not able to stand on their own 2 feet. They go back to staying with their parents in their house and expecting them to take care of their expenses. I'll stay in the basement. And given today's children whose only job is protests and social media justice and change the world, they're not bothered about their careers. They're just bothered about changing the world. Yeah, my mother and father will take care. Yeah. I mean, if you think about it this way, it's like, what the hell is going on, man? And imagine you're spending money for an educational system that is, one is outdated, second is memorization, third is the stuff that they're teaching you there, it's not at all practical. He shared with me some of the syllabus. What were some of the syllabus? What is this? 1 minute. What he told me is, I put my child into this. The only thing that my daughter has is a very British accent, because all of them are British. or there, or whites or whatever. Education is terrible. They don't even have a practice of teaching them how to write. Everything is laptop or iPads. It seems they have parties every month. This is the white, British, American, whatever, Gora kind of school. Every month they have parties where the parents spend 4 to 5,000 dirhams. Okay, that's 1,000 to 1,500 US dollars on parties for 5-year-old. We are not spending that kind of money. We save that money so that our children can have better education, and sometimes they even have, they sponsor some poor children. Okay, he's saying that this is what he has said. He said that by the time my child reaches the 12th grade, that is high school, I think the fees would be 100,000 dirhams. 100,000 dirhams is like nearly 27,000 US dollars. He's saying teachers are mostly South African whites or British who are paid 10,000 plus accommodation, plus, that is housing. And what are the extra charges now they are charging for? Is they are going to teach you drawing, they are going to teach you phonics, I don't know what the hell, PHONICS, and they are going to teach you math input, MATH, maths input. I don't know what the hell is that. They don't give the children homework because they don't want to burden them. And what he's telling me, he said, Loy, my MBA that I spent, my entire MBA, which I did in Bangalore in India, was 25,000 dirhams. The whole thing? Yeah, the whole thing was 25,000 dirhams those days. My daughter's is double the cost per year. His MBA for 2 years was 25,000 dirhams. His daughter's 1 month education is 50,000. One year. So he's saying if your child studies in Dubai, you'll easily be spending almost 500,000 to 1 million per child. And then he gave what his wife is working, what his wife is earning. Because she is at a C level, he's also at a C level. They are able to manage all this. But what he mentioned here is, I don't know how other people survive. I don't know how normal people survive. I'm just lucky I have this wonderful job. And then the questions were, boy, I don't know if tomorrow I lose my job, what will I do? Okay. So here's my question to you. If you're a parent and you have a child, and obviously I'm assuming that you are a good parent, at least you're better than me, where you want to put your child in a very good school and a very good education, and not only education, you want to give them co-curricular activities, dancing, singing, ballet, and whatever, none of them which I find very practical. You'd want to give your child, and okay, sports is good, okay. So then you have to pay extra for all that as well. And then obviously a child's expectations, smartphone, internet, iPad, day to day, take them up and down. How do you manage? Seriously, I'm serious. How do you bloody manage? I'm lucky that I'm earning in US dollars, I'm spending in baht. My wife is a housewife. She's 24/7 with my daughter. She's studying in a school that is hardly 2-3 minutes away. Like within 5 minutes, she'll go to school. We can drive her and bring her back. School fees, uniform, books, all subsidized by the government. Like I told you, my entire daughter's 1 year is like $230, which I can get 1 hour client, finish. I'm lucky that way. Okay. But how do other parents manage, especially in Dubai? How do you manage, man? How do you survive? So are you going to dedicate your entire lives to raising your children? That's it. That's the point of existing, that you work like a dog to help them stand on their own 2 feet, and then you're suddenly left with nothing and you're at their mercy and you don't know whether they'll take care of you. Is that how life is going to be? And then when you think about it, you kind of understand what is the problem in India, where people get married and have children, but then they can't give them anything other than just go to school. Like you remember my previous video, this girl looked like a boy, a man with a mustache and all that, and the parents only focused on education, nothing else, no personality, no communication skills, no other skills, only mugging up to get marks. They don't have time. They just don't have time to spend time with the child, to help the child grow, to help the child to learn real skills, practical skills, nothing, zero. What do you do, man? How do you manage? I'm really seriously, sincerely asking, how do you survive? How do you pay these expenses? Salary is not going to increase. Cost of living is increasing. Inflation is increasing. School fees is increasing. There's competition in the job market. AI is taking over. And people, if they lose their jobs, they don't pay higher salaries. So what the hell do you do, man? I know I'm making it sound very depressing, but this is the reality of the market today, no? So what do you do, man? I don't know. I honestly, I don't know how you guys are surviving in UAE. I don't know how you guys are surviving. And I really, when I see these youngsters graduate from colleges and schools, these young boys and girls, they have so much of confidence. Cocky sons of bitches, cocky and arrogant, and they want to change the world. We bring new ideas to the table. They'll have good communication skills. They'll have a lot of words. Zero experience, zero practical knowledge, zero practicality or common sense, zero. Everything big zero. Talking is big. Personality is amazing. Oh, I listen to Joe Rogan. I listen to Chris Williamson. I listen to CEO, a Diary of a CEO. Oh, very confident. We can change the world. Fantastic accent. They want to go to Ivy Leagues and they want to create e-commerce and cryptocurrencies. All modern thinking. Can they earn one penny? Oh yeah, I worked as an intern. Oh yeah, really? Yeah. Can you survive? Can you get out of the house? Can you get out? Get the fuck out of the house. Get yourself a nice accommodation. Pay the water, electricity, internet, all the other expenses. Live by yourself. Can you do that? Can you? And that's where you come to realize what education they actually received. Because I can assure you this, almost, say, roughly 90%, let's be generous, 95%. All these youngsters, they cannot stay alone by themselves, work by themselves, pay the expenses by themselves, water, electricity, housing, food. They can't do any of this. They have to still stay with mummy, daddy. But the ego, the confidence, the arrogance, the demand for self-respect, the self-entitlement, change the world, big talk, lecturing, giving free advice to adults, that they can do on their father's, mother's expense. And then they wonder why we are not getting any job. Oh, the education is outdated. We live in very funny times. We pay money for something which has, I don't know if you can call it return on investment, or you spend so much money for all this for what? If it would guarantee you a job, fine. Just imagine if you put 1 million in the bank, 1 million, and give the child very basic minimum education, very basic, but you teach them business, you teach them dealing, not global business, simple, make something, sell something, make something, sell something, just like a trader. Like, you have these Gujarati families or Indian families where you're born into the business. I think they would fare much better. They would not be millionaires and billionaires, That's not to say that education doesn't have any value, but it's overpriced, man. It's become a business. It's become a shame. It's become a scandal. The amount of money, the the inflation, the expense. It's like what? I can't even wrap my head. I don't know how you parents are managing, and I don't know what what is the future for these youngsters. I'm studying here at what? I studied in Manipal. I studied in this college. It's like, when you have a fart that you want to let out and you're looking left and right and nobody, then you just, it goes, some. That's how it sounds when you tell which college you studied. Because practical experience, this. Anyway, I don't know what to say other than my heart goes out to those parents who are doing so much for their children, so much. It's a sin. It's a crime. The amount of money, man. Anyway, that's why I'm spending the bare minimum. But the rest of the money will be used for practical. That is my style. Practical business experience. Money will not be given for free. Yeah, you have to take a loan, like how you take a loan in the bank, repay it. Support and guidance will be given to make sure that you succeed. But nothing is going to be given on a silver platter. And as far as education is concerned, we live in a day and age where you graduate, get that piece of paper, see, memorized all this memorization contest. Ask me anything. Blah, blah, blah. Ask me second. Blah, blah, blah. Ask me next one. Yeah. I'm smart. And after 1 year, tell me, what did you study there? Yeah, I knew that answer. What's the use? Do you remember anything from your school days? You who's watching, you remember anything you studied last year? You know what I remember from accounts? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Accounts. Hindi, if you ask me, Hindi. The only thing I remember in Hindi was a quotation that I read, which I memorized because everyone had to read one quote. I kept memorizing so that I would impress my sir. And I got it. Dobi ka kutta na gar ka na ghat ka. And I said it loudly. And I thought I was smart. And my Hindi sir said, correct, it suits you. I was like, what? And everyone burst out laughing. I was like, what does it mean? Like, I used to copy from others because I hated language, especially Hindi. It's not Hindi, but I just didn't like languages. I liked English because it was like reading a storybook. I don't remember. Seriously. Physics, jig-jag motion, because that sir was from South India and he could never say zigzag. He could say jig-jag motion. Then chemistry, I remember H2O is water and potassium permanganate. If you put it in water, it's purple. Rest everything, don't ask me. Trigonometry is, you draw that one circle-like thing and something inside, like an egg, as to remember Easter egg. And then you draw the triangle and I don't know what. And then algebra is to be x, what? X plus y, 2x, ab plus b square or something like that. Some shit like that. Maths, just calculate something, and accountancy was so trial balance sheet as to copy from the other guy because I didn't know what the hell was that. How many shares and debentures and whatnot. I don't know which subject was that. Business studies, I remember Maslow's theory of hierarchy or something like that. What other subjects are there? What is the use of all these studies here? What? I don't know. At 47 years old, I don't remember jack shit of what I studied. So what is the point? Anyway, this is what you'll be spending money for. You tell me. You tell me. Maybe I'm too negative. Maybe I'm wrong. You guide me and you tell me if today's education is worth it or not. And honestly, from my heart, I'm telling all you parents, I don't know what you're spending money on, and sincerely, my heart goes out to you. You are like heroes, the unsung heroes who are doing so much for your children. I don't even know if your children will realize what you have done. In fact, in the end, you'll end up hearing your children say, "Who asked you to take care of me? Who asked you to give birth to me? Who asked you? Did I ask you to give birth to me?" They'll tell you that. Did I ask you to give birth to me? Then what you'll say? I've heard children say that. Who the fuck asked you to give birth to me? Ah, boy. Having children. Oh, why, oh, why. It's like buying a pet and then having to pay all the extra charges. And then you begin to wonder, I don't want this pet. At least you can get rid of it and dump it on the road. Once you have a kid, what do? Water. Anyway, for whatever it's worth, whatever I studied in Sharjah Indian School, Apple, ABBLD, Apple, Loy. Mrs. Ellen, your son should be put in a mental hospital. Mental. What is the use? What is studying? Does he, if he take interest, what is studying? What? Pieces of shit, some of them. I mean, I don't want to insult them, but anyway, that is life. Okay. Bye. Chalo, yalla. Good, bad, ugly, feel free. Comment down below. This is me signing off. Alright? Gund. Bye. Chalo, yalla, tata.